Hello everyone. It's now 5:55 p.m. It was just 5:54. So I was able to sleep last night from about 1 o'clock, approximately between 1 o'clock and 1:30 in the morning, off and on up until like 8 o'clock in the morning, or sometime after 8 o'clock in the morning. So, but I had a gap in between. I had a gap of insomnia between like 4:30 and maybe 5 o'clock or 5:30 this morning. So, well, the video yesterday on my Target About a PsychWorld backup channel, I was able to get the appeal granted. So the video was restored. But yesterday, it didn't look like I got that much support when I tried to vent my frustrations and tell about my video being falsely reported. But I'm glad I was able to get the video restored. So, I think they were doing dream manipulation on me really heavy last night. And that might have been one of the reasons why I had difficulty falling back asleep. Because, last night, later at night, it sounded like on both sides, I heard loud talking from neighbors, on both sides, off and on, throughout the later night. As soon as I try to go to bed, I think at 10:30 last night. As soon as I try to go to bed, because I was actually looking up something and I was already laying down. And as soon as I thought of to start to log off and then go to bed, that's when they started with their yip-yapping and noise or whatever. But I don't know why. I've been sleeping with these for years, and I used to be able to sleep very well with my earbuds in. But for a while, I've been having difficulty sleeping while trying to have my earbuds in. So, and also I be trying to, with my ear, nose, and throat doctor that was treating me for hyperacusis when I was living in Los Angeles. He advised me to have some moments, I guess, to let my ears breathe. Because, if I keep the earbuds in my ears constantly, personally, I've experienced that, the primary care physician, the African primary care physician, I forgot no, that was in Denton, Texas. His name was Dr. Aduba, but that was a primary care physician in Los Angeles. I don't remember his name at all, but he diagnosed me with otitis externa, which is like an outer ear infection, from having the earbuds in all the time. So sometimes, I have to let my ears breathe, because they be sweating. They'll be sweating and itching, and sometimes they'll get dry. So I have to let my ears breathe sometimes, and but then I'd be subjected to more noise and everything. Now, I came across paper documentation of proof of my Tourette's diagnosis, like when I was sorting my papers and organizing and stuff, um, I, I was, you know, I had proof of documentation of, you know, my Tourette's and the OCD, anxiety, and depression. And, you know, brand new doctors that don't know me that well, um, you know, if they'll act like as if they will act like as if they like the new doctors that don't know me that well, they would not believe that I went through Hurricane Katrina or something like that, or act like they didn't believe that I went through Hurricane Katrina, or act like as if they don't believe I have a college degree or something like that. And then they will falsely diagnose me as having psychotic features. But Dr. Chakraborty and as much as the foster mom try to manipulate and lie to everybody and say I'm schizophrenic and everything, the foster mom would not. I don't even think she would have agreed that I'm bipolar or have psychotic features or, you know, schizoaffective or anything like that. But some doctors are just in it for the money, and I've seen and I didn't think to write this in my ebook about how basically psychiatrists and therapists or whatever, they diagnose you based on their opinion about you, rather, or the way they feel or what they think about you, rather than there being like a solid diagnosis, like because it'd be so complex, and people, you know, like they even say that there are no tests, like you know, like no brain test to basically determine what your mental health diagnosis is or whatever, you know. So I also have like I must have left all that behind when I left Los Angeles. But if I would have been able to take that paperwork with me, like I don't even have any documentation of like medical documentation of my hyperacusis. Like I did not see that in any of the paperwork, you know, from all that stuff I gathered throughout the years, you know. But I had to, but I do have my paperwork of my like documentation of myself warning the Section 8 lady and the fake landlord. Well, he was the owner, not just the landlord, but the owner, they say, of the place I was living at in Los Angeles. And he wasn't a gang stalker at first, but they got to him. And even the actual money-hungry landlady who got me in the place, she was an abusive, narcissistic, money-hungry, elderly perp that was part of the fake Jehovah's Witnesses cult. She even told me that that the actual owner, you know, was that Sam Barretta guy. He was the actual owner, and Geneva Hildreth was the she lives in, excuse me, I don't even know if she's still alive, but she lives in Inglewood. Now, she was a money-hungry, narcissistic perp that was elderly, and she was part of the fake Jehovah's Witnesses cult. And But Mr. Sam was the landlord, but he wasn't a perp for over a year, like over a year and a half, maybe about a year and a half, and then afterwards, I think afterwards that's when he became a perp. But then he started to progressively get worse and worse. But I was trying to warn him and that Ronnie Jones lady from HAPLA, the housing authority of, I think it was the city of Los Angeles, that's down on Wilshire in LA. And I even have paperwork evidence of them of myself warning them that due to my body being vibrated and then dealing with the noise campaigns and everything, I didn't know that they were called noise campaigns. But I was trying to figure out, and it was like the worst nightmare with me trying to figure out what was going on. And so I even have paperwork dated back of February 25th of 2016 of me trying to, and it's like, that's crazy because I had just renewed, the fuckers with the gang stalking, they waited until after I had renewed the lease to ramp up. I mean, they waited till after I renewed the lease for another year to ramp up the vibrating to be so bad that I couldn't stay there no more. And I was like, when they had the noise campaigns and me dealing with the vibrating, I was calling the police every single day and sometimes several times a day, begging and pleading for help. And just nothing. And then I realized that when I was living there, there was a cell tower right by our and I didn't know about that until after I moved there. But cell tower or not, I still be like vibrating, like they vibrated my body really bad my first day up in here, in this place where I'm at right now. So, so they vibrated me so bad. I mean, to the point where I didn't even realize, like, and so when I read up about the vibrating a few years ago, somebody said that when they're torturing you with directed energy weapons and you're sitting at a library or something, they say don't stay in the same place or don't stay there, that you gotta up and move, because they say that if they keep torturing you with the weapons and you end up, that they can kill you like that. And so I said that I would try as best as I could to not let the gang stalking network make me back homeless again. So, and if I die, the gang stalking network got blood on you. Y'all got blood on y'all hands. And y'all think that this is funny. And y'all laughing and thinking that I'm just talking crazy and talking nonsense. So, you see my ear is itching right now. So, but y'all be thinking I be talking crazy and talking nonsense. But they say that, I came to the conclusion that when people think you're all kinds of crazies, obviously you're doing something right. And so-called crazy people be the ones that be telling y'all the truth. So, and then later on, other people had confirmed the same thing. So, but yeah, it's like when it be like new doctors that don't know me, they act like as if they'll try to diagnose me as, a single episode of psychotic features. when it's a doctor that's new to me, and we don't really know each other. But they will keep that on record. But they've been having weird-ass fake psychiatrists trying to diagnose me with any and everything that they want to. And there'd be a new abusive, fake, narcissistic perp psychiatrist. Like this fake, I never in my life have been diagnosed or treated for bipolar. But, you know, they said that man, I forgot what his first name was, but his last name was Holden in New York City. And Dr. Chakraborty and that Dr. Wilson and other psychiatrists, Dr. McKenzie and Dr. Mason, other psychiatrists, would not have agreed that, you know, Candy is bipolar. But if they have abusive, narcissistic perps that don't even know you, like one time a lady at the shelter who know not much or nothing about me, and I forgot what the instance was, but me and her got into a heated argument, and that was my first time seeing her, and I got mad, and she triggered and provoked me to cuss her out. And then she lied, tried to play victim and then lie and say, oh, she's schizophrenic. Talking about, oh, she's schizophrenic. But, like, how you going to call me just for the 5 minutes of knowing me? Like, and if you want to stigmatize or treat somebody like that, then you don't need to be working in a homeless shelter. So Dr. Holden, or shall I say fraudster Holden, would have never diagnosed me with, you know, he didn't diagnose me with schizophrenia. But, you know, I've even had experiences where fake mental health psychiatrists would try to hide my diagnosis from what their opinion of my diagnosis is. They would try to hide that from me and wouldn't act like they don't want to, or like they're threatened or intimidated or like they're scared. And they would try to gaslight and tell me, don't focus on the diagnosis, just focus on getting better. Like, well, how can I get better without knowing what the diagnosis is? And they be doing all kinds of sneaky, dirty shit, you know. So, and then one of the times they, was it the first time or the second time? No, it was the first time when they rough handled and put me, was that? No, oh yeah. I think it was when that lady that she set me up and lied on me. That Diane Frey lady in New York, she set me up and lied on me, and they put me in handcuffs and hauled me to the mental institution. That was the first time, because that caught me by surprise, because I didn't know that when you go to the mental institution that they put you in handcuffs, and I did not realize that mental institution was like going to prison. But I never heard of nobody voluntarily going to jail, but they have people, and I feel like if I would have known the truth, I would never, if I would have known the truth, I would have never voluntarily committed myself. Like after, like in between 2007 and 2011, I had off and on moments where I voluntarily committed myself to the mental institution, but I would never do that again. Because I didn't know the truth. But I had certain feelings about something got to be wrong with the psychiatry and the mental health system and everything. And I got my final confirmation. Like, I didn't know at first. So I would never voluntarily and willfully take a psych pill ever again. and I would never voluntarily commit myself to the mental institution again. But in 2006 and 2007, they voluntarily committed me against my will. One, because like that Diane Frey lady, she set me up and lied on me. And that roommate. And then the second time in New York, it was after I had already got that housing. And, it was, I had that suicide attempt. And I had the suicide attempt. And then, nobody believed me. And everybody on the internet, plus even including my own family, they falsely accused me of lying and faking for attention. And then people like, well, if you were telling the truth, then if what you were going through was real, then you wouldn't have put it on the internet. That's how we know that you're faking and lying for attention. But those be internet narcissistic bullies. So, but people making like as if this. I don't know why people think that everything on the internet gotta be fake. And now it seems like the internet world, people be more on the internet world than in real life. And sometimes we gotta give ourselves and other people gotta give us that reminder to like back off from social media for a while and get with real life. But it seems like social media has become the so-called new real life now. And speaking of that, when I started, but when I would be at the library on a computer and using their dial-up internet, and you get mad because the video's waiting to buffer. But, excuse me. Sorry. So, but a lot of times I would be like so focused on the internet and I'd be forgetting what's reality physically around me. And like you find yourself like escaped into the internet world and then you snap back into the reality and forget that you were at the library. So, I'm pretty sure that happened to a lot of us. Even with me being on my phone, So I dealt with reality, and reality was realitying this morning. Reality was realitying this morning. Yeah, so I don't want to use the word proud because, I heard that pride was a sin. But I'll say I'm happy for myself that I accomplished hard work of cleaning and organizing and getting rid of stuff. I was overwhelmed and didn't think I could do it. But I got rid of so much stuff. Stuff that I should have gotten rid of years ago. I've been having for all these years, so I was able to throw away and get rid of the bus schedules from 2017, electricity bills from 2013, and stuff like that. I'm amazed at myself that I was able to get all this done. But I guess the only thing left to sort and organize is clothes. But this morning they had this mean lady that was trying to ask for directions. I'm not going to go into detail, because of the online perps. But she said she lived in Perdido Key. And she got mad at me, because I'm still kind of new here and was trying to figure out, what's the best way to let her know, because, it's a little bit complicated. But she got narcissistically mad and impatient with me, and that made me feel really terrible, So, excuse me. So, but, oh well. So, well, so now that I have a permanent place to live now, unless it has to do with the directed energy weapons, I'm not going to be revealing TMI or something with menstruation or whatever. But, because I know that that's personal. But when it comes to directed energy weapons or them manipulating and controlling my body, or, if it's due to the gang stalking, then, yeah, I'm going to talk about it. Or even show about certain things, But now, a lot of people were, back in 2020, a lot of people were offended at the video of me showing the gang stalkers torturing me with directed energy weapons. And I was in a church bathroom at a church right before hurricane, or during, or before, or right around the time of Hurricane Sally. And I, excuse me, right around Hurricane Sally. And I, I had posted up a video about the gang stalking network torturing me with directed energy weapons and causing me forced diarrhea and bloody diarrhea. And so I had Facebook and Instagram for a brief moment, and Twitter at that time also. But I did not realize, I know I got a lot of thumbs down on that video, but I got a lot of thumbs down on that video, but because I got fed up, and they were gang stalking me really bad that day, and I was fed up, and they caused me the forced bloody diarrhea and was torturing me with the directed energy weapons. And I put the video up, or I put a picture snapshot on Instagram and a video on YouTube showing, because y'all kept on saying y'all didn't believe me. So that was the most likes I got on Instagram, and I didn't expect or intend for that to happen. And then I didn't even realize a whole bunch of perverts took and sold that picture like on the dark web or whatever, you know, or did something crazy. Like they had a whole bunch of foreign men that were interested in that. But I did not mean to be gross, and I wasn't trying to troll or anything like that, you know. But that was the last time that I remember that I ended up with the bloody diarrhea. Me and my twin sister's birthday, I guess I turned 34 in 2017, but of course I had to spend that by myself. I had to go to the emergency room on me and my twin sister's birthday because of the bloody diarrhea, you know, the forced bloody diarrhea and doo-doo or whatever. And so they were torturing me with the direct energy weapons and trying to kill me, you know. And I think I had just got there at that place to live in 2017 on Section 8. And I had to go to the emergency room so many times, and not real, or kept on having to go to the doctor. And I mean, they had this abusive, narcissistic Asian doctor named Dr. Lee, and he worked at the Ochsner Clinic, you know, on Jefferson Highway. Excuse me. And I tried to tell him that a rock got stuck in my foot. Excuse me. Because I was very poor and I didn't have the money for any new shoes or more shoes. So I was walking around with these flip-flops, and the flip-flops got really worn down, and the rock got stuck in my foot, and he refused to treat that. And then he tried to just convince me that it was just athlete's foot, and refused to you know, take the rock out of my foot. He refused to take the rock out of my foot. And so the skin grew over, and they still have that rock in my foot. But yeah, I had athlete's foot too, but he didn't want to take the rock out of my foot, and he was trying to gaslight me and thought I was delusional. But it was kind of deep in there, you know, and I think it was that earlier that day, or I had to get an appointment. I don't remember what the case was, but I tried to let him know, and he didn't want to take the rock out of my foot. So it seems like, and I know from personal experience and other targeted individuals say that, and other so-called mental patients, you know, that, excuse me, other so-called mental patients that they, excuse me, other so-called mental patients will say that the mental health specialists or even your primary care doctors, that they will not treat you, or they will not treat your condition properly, or they won't even treat you at all, and they will give you false diagnosis because they treat you like a hypochondriac and act like they don't believe what you're suffering. And I heard that's called medical gaslighting. You know, so and I even have documentation of medical documentation of me going to the emergency room for something like pain in my hip. And then they falsely diagnosed me with anxiety and then gave me like 6 or 7 different prescriptions. You know. And so it's like they give you false diagnosis to make things look like as if you're crazy or hypochondriac or whatever, you know, and they don't even treat you properly, treat you medically, give you the medical treatment that you really do need. Like, I think that I suffered an instance of Morgellons, and they had bad chemtrailing that day, and it rained bad that day in Los Angeles. And all I know is I was taking a shower that day, and it was not bed bugs. It was different from bed bugs. And this was the only time I experienced this. And so I took a shower. And while I was showering, like the moment that the water hit my body, I just started to get all these, like, I don't even remember how to explain or describe it. You know. And so I went to the emergency room, Cal State University, like the emergency room, like the medical emergency room. And they refused to medically treat me, and they try to falsely accuse me of being delusional and everything. And so then later on, a primary care physician, another lady, diagnosed me with candidiasis. But another female, it was a female, I guess she was a primary care physician. And she diagnosed me with candidiasis. But, you know, I think that with me detoxing, or, you know, taking detox baths or taking bentonite clay, I think I'm cured of the lupus symptoms that I used to have. I think I'm cured of lupus, because I haven't had symptoms in a long time. And people try to say that there is no cure for lupus, and that it's devastating. And, you know, when I called up different family members, foster mom and biological family members, like the biological mom, Frances, and the biological brother, Mark, and my twin sister, you know, they acted like they didn't care, you know, that they said it was devastating, and that, you know, that there was no cure and then you could die. Then I heard rumors, people were saying that the other biological brother, Derek, had lupus, you know, but I don't know. He didn't seem like he had lupus to me. But when me and my twin sister, Brandy, when we got into an argument, and she threw in my face and lied and said, "You don't have lupus, you just want attention. Oh, you need to stop copying off the fake mental health people, because there wouldn't be attention seeking." I had actually had like the diagnosis on letterhead, but I don't remember if I came across that paperwork, you know, up in here. But I did have the evidence of the diagnosis on letterhead. So I think sometime 2012, after I became homeless, but before I left, it was before I left Denton, Texas, before I became homeless. It was before I left Denton, Texas, I had lupus symptoms. And everything would feel like, I can't say everything, but maybe I can talk about this on a blog topic. So I figured something was wrong because my my bones would feel like steel, and then everything was hurting, and I would have lupus flare-ups, and nobody would believe me, and the medical personnel would treat me with extra abuse and refuse to help me up when I couldn't walk. And the symptoms were so bad that I had to walk around with a walker at 28 years old. You know, but yeah, I was able to get cured. I was able to get cured of lupus. And then after that, how I knew the nurse practitioner, Miss Vanessa Abrutis, I don't know how to pronounce her name. She got hateful and turned against me. And I'm like, this lady was loyal to me for 4 years. She used to love me. What happened? I didn't realize they turned her into a perp. And so then she tried to act like she wanted to refuse to write me the letter of proof of me having lupus. And then she said something about, who knows, it could have been a false positive. And then people were gaslighting and playing all kinds of games. and it's like nobody wanted to help me. Even in 2011, they had this abuse. I was new to Los Angeles and homeless, and I was at that downtown women's center, and I had to go to the emergency room, and they had a black lady. I don't remember her name, and she was a nurse, and she was abusive, narcissistic, very hard, and mean. Excuse me. And she militantly refused to help me. And then they'll give you this look, like they look down on you, like they think they're better than you. And even in 2017, I didn't have lupus symptoms, but I was suffering direct energy weapon attacks. And my blood pressure was oddly high. It was unusually very high. And those abusive, narcissistic, pregnant nurses in 2017, they smoked really heavy, and they refused to treat me medically, you know, or they refused to help me walk when I couldn't walk, you know. But yeah, like 2012 or 2013, I was completely cured of the lupus symptoms. And, you know, I haven't had any lupus-related problems ever since, you know. So I'm an advocate that natural health does work. It does work. But sometimes when you're suffering a certain ailment, sometimes you'll try something natural and they may not work the first time. And then you get discouraged and then go the medical route, or you be in such a panic that you turn around and go to the emergency room or something. Or you're freaking out and not knowing what's going on. So, but the video today, it won't be as long. The video won't be like an hour and a half or it won't be like an hour and a half or you know, I can't even think properly. The video is not going to be an hour and a half or something like that today, because I'm at the moment I'm baking chicken wings, for dinner, enough for 2 days. So I'm baking chicken wings, and I'm gonna have some I'm baking chicken wings, and I'm gonna have some rice and baked beans, baked beans, pork and beans, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I have for dinner. But I didn't even have lunch, but it was lunchtime, and I had just 2 packs of oatmeal and some coconut oil for breakfast during lunchtime. Excuse me. They came earlier than I expected for the inspection, and the man told me basically I got nothing. Well, I tried my best to clean this place, but I'm like, that's it. He was in here in and out within like less than 2 minutes, or about 2 minutes. And, he tested the smoke alarm, and then he sprayed, whatever. And, because they said it was going to be an inspection. So me being new here, I didn't know what to expect or how deep they were going to go, with the inspection. And so when I was living in Los Angeles and Greenville, South Carolina, I would have panic attacks because of freaking out about the inspections and everything. And they would always get on the landlord for everything. Excuse me. Because I thought that when you did like a Section 8 inspection, I thought you had to have the place really, really clean. But this lady, this perp from the fake Hell's Way Church, fake Dolores, her and the biological sister Ramona, they both had their house conditions the same. And fake Dolores would have all this stuff in her house. But then she would tell me stuff like, well, I am not a hoarder. But she would have a whole bunch of stuff, But she had a filthy house full of roaches, and so did Ramona. And they passed inspection year after year, like every year. But one time it was a black man that came and inspected my place in Los Angeles. And he said, you must be from Louisiana, huh? I said, well, what make you say that? He said, yeah, 'cause he said I had the cleanest house he ever saw. But the foster mom, I talked about this before, when we were in foster care, and she would, the abusive fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, who they call Ann, she would do stuff like pop up in our room unexpectedly and demand that we clean up. And especially on Saturdays, and while other kids are sitting down watching cartoons, we're forced to clean up as punishment. And if we're sitting in our room, she didn't even teach or show us how to clean up. But the earliest of chores that I remember is we were not even in kindergarten yet. We were 4 years old, and she would force us to find matches to socks. She would force us to sit down and fold clothes and find matches to socks. And if we couldn't find the matches to socks, like some socks, there were no matches. There would be like just that one sock. And so, that was the earliest of cleanup trauma and abuse. Like we were 4 years old. And she would force us to fold clothes and find matches to socks. I don't even think a 4-year-old child know about that. But I'm amazed at myself thinking that a 4-year-old like me would be smart enough to know how to find exact matches to socks and then fold them up. So, they just hit my left foot in between my toes with the directed energy weapons just now. And guess what? The directed energy weapon pain for a couple of seconds, it felt like what the lupus pain would feel like. So she would force us to find matches to socks. And then we used to think that cleaning up would be fun. But the foster mom made it miserable. when you're a child and you see grown up things that you don't know how to do, and you see a grown up doing things, then you will be interested and fascinated with wanting to learn how to do that too. So, if you're interested and fascinated with learning how to wash dishes, but I didn't realize that it was hard work, as a little kid. I thought it looked fun. So we used to be interested in wanting to wash dishes, and the foster mom weaponized that against us. And we would be 7 years old, 6 and 7 years old, and I already told y'all that my twin sister would leave her side of the bed dirty, or her side of the room dirty, and then put all her toys and everything under my bed, and then lie on me and say that was all my stuff, and then the foster mom would whip and torture the shit out of me. And my twin sister would just sit there and let me get whipped. She would do all this dirty stuff and then blame it on me. But we were little kids back then. But for us to grow up and she's still doing the same damn thing. So I had to sacrifice many ass whippings or many beatings that she should have got. So I was terrified and traumatized of the foster mom talking about, get my house clean, I want this house clean, I want this house immaculate. And the foster mom would bully and abuse me about keeping my room clean or whatever, or washing the dishes, or cleaning this, cleaning that. And then they became more aggressive at bullying and forcing us to keep this clean, keep that clean, and using us as cleanup slaves. While the foster mom's grandkids, they didn't have to do shit. And then after we turned 18, was the first time I ever in my life saw the foster mom wash any dishes. She never washed no dishes when we were in foster care. But then she was washing dishes after the foster boys, but she never cleaned up behind us. She never washed no dishes behind us. And so by the time I was in junior high and high school or something, I developed OCD, like full-blown OCD. And then it progressively got worse. And then the foster mom made it like me having OCD and being overly clean was a problem. Or me always washing my hands was a problem. But we were 4 years old, and the foster family members, like, they would run outside of the kitchen and call us nasty. So so with the foster mom and the cleanup thing, and then me being in my 20s and living in Denton, Texas, and dealing with fake mental health professionals coming to my house and trying to control how I have my house and everything, pop up unexpectedly and demand that I clean this and clean that and everything, would cause me like panic attacks. So I was freaking out and having panic attacks and whatever. But today was a breeze. So now even and then I had that abusive narcissistic, that gay guy, what's his name? Michael, from the fake Seville Quarter. That Michael guy would be nitpicky, bossy, and controlling, with trying to bully and harass and lecture me about cleaning this up and cleaning that up. And he would be overly critical. But then everybody else was amazed at me cleaning this and cleaning that. And they say, you clean better than most grown adults. They tell me that. Or they say, she be having them bathrooms looking and smelling beautiful. But sometimes, certain days or certain times, they would get on my case and say that I work too slow or something like that, But anyway, this morning I woke up sometime right after 8 o'clock. And then it wasn't until after 12 o'clock I had 2 packs of oatmeal and a heaping teaspoon of coconut oil. Like a heaping teaspoon of coconut oil and 2 packs of instant oatmeal, because that's all I had the money for. And I had the money to get like enough breakfast to stretch me or whatever. And I got me some barbecue sauce and some packs of pasta so that maybe I can have some mac and cheese or something, you know. So basically, oh no, I had 2 packs of oatmeal, a heaping teaspoon of coconut oil, and 2 pinches of salt, and I had an apple. That's what I had. And so then, like, I was caught off guard with that. The monthly enemy is what I call it, that time of the month for women. It started. So, but now that I have a permanent place to live, I shouldn't be telling people, you know, about that time of the month, you know. But the reason why I would talk about it, because I'm like, yeah, and y'all say I stink, but y'all had me out there on the streets with nowhere to take a shower. So I would remind people and let them know, you know. But now I have a permanent place to live. Like, I'm not going to be trying to publicize that really anymore unless it pertains to like the directed energy weapons. Like, they prematurely sped up, you know, to have, for my menstruation to come like too early and exactly on me and my twin sister's birthday. And I'm like, they did this. They did this with the direct energy weapon, or they probably, I mean, if not the direct energy weapon, the gang stalking network, they did something. Because I heard that they know how to manipulate and engineer, you know, even your menstruation or something like that too, you know. So they were able to engineer that or manipulate that. So I had unnecessarily 2 menstruations for the month of August. So then here, I was caught by surprise today, you know, because I wasn't sure if it would get back on schedule, or the fact that it came prematurely. Oh, it came today. And so, but after using the bathroom, like I had like a 2-hour nap. I was trying to not take a nap, but I had a 2-hour nap. I had a 2-hour nap today, I guess, to catch up from the days of sleep deprivation. But they came earlier than I expected, you know, for the inspection thing, you know. And today is the biological nephew Raymond's birthday. I think he turned 35 years old. But that's Ramona's son. So yeah, he's a perp too. Both of Ramona's kids are abusive, narcissistic, ghetto perps. And 5 days ago was my great nephew Lil Randy's birthday. I think he turned 18. I think he turned 18. That's Monica's son. That's Raymond's nephew. So that's my nephew's nephew. So, but yeah, next month, October, will be going on 5 years since I have not spoken to drunk Lady Yvonne, my aunt, and also, you know, the biological sister Ramona, and a lot of other family members. Like, Raymond was the last family member that I saw in person. It was like right around fake Christmas of 2018. And he was asking me to, well, I guess he was trying to do the right thing and try to make the peace and, you know, invite me to come over by the family. I'm like, no, because the family, they don't want me around anyway, you know. But he was trying to get me to come back. Like, at least he had some humanity to do that. But, like, the day that I had the argument that night with drunk lady Yvonne and her son, my cousin Darryl Jr., who they call Du, Raymond went totally off topic, and he was driving me home. I mean, he was driving me to Ramona's house because I was homeless then. That was the day that I came back from the hell that I went through in Los Angeles. And after I came back from the, after what I went through in Los Angeles, it was, the day that I came back from Los Angeles, and after working at the Grand Canyon and being stranded in Los Angeles for like 3 weeks or so, or if not 3 weeks, I don't remember, but I was stranded in Los Angeles, and finally got my IDs and finally got back to New Orleans. And then Yvonne was drunk that night and picked the argument with me. And then the next day, Ramona picked the argument with me, So Raymond just randomly out of nowhere bragged and laughed and said, I see why you and Brandy keep getting raped and all that. So I'm like, that had nothing to do with, what we were talking about. And he laughed and thought everything was funny. But it seemed like the whole entire family, pretty much almost everybody, all the older adults in the family, they all seem like they got a reprobate mind. Like they really don't have a conscience, but they know exactly what they're doing. But you can say that for any and every narcissist, sociopath, and psychopath in the in the doggone family. So, but I mean, even in 2015, Raymond was trying to make some peace when Ramona and Monica abused me and did me the way that they did me and everything, So I gotta go earlier today because right now I gotta take the I gotta take the chicken wings out of the oven. I don't even like Bullseye brand of barbecue sauce, but that was like $1. That bottle was $1.50, and it was the cheapest I could afford with the little money I had at Family Dollar. I went to Family Dollar, and it was the cheapest that I could afford. Oh, because they seem a little bit burnt. Well, last time it's been like an hour and a half. Last time I put them on an hour and 15 minutes, and they seemed like they were undercooked. But they weren't undercooked. But I had this fear that they were, and I put it on 425. But maybe they look a little burnt because of the barbecue sauce on it. So I'm gonna get to cooking, and I'm oh, what? Wow. Wait, no. Still good. All right. Well, I was like, because I had to thaw out some of the frozen milk. So that, I mean, if the milk would have been thawed, I would have had cereal this morning. So, I'm about to go. I'm not going to get back on here tonight. So, this is my open talk video for today. And so, if I don't have any gang stalking documentation to report on, then I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all.